In a world buzzing with chaos, where most people chase fleeting highs and drown in distractions, a rare few walk a different path. They carry a quiet fire in their chest, a disciplined spirit forged not by chance but through relentless battles with the self. These are the spiritually gifted, not chosen by some cosmic lottery but by their own unyielding choice to face their inner storms and emerge unshakable. On Wisdom Waves Aura, we dive deep into what sets these souls apart, exploring 3 profound experiences only they understand, earned through the crucible of self-mastery. These aren't mystical gifts but hard-won strengths, sculpted by those who refuse to let their chaos define them. Let's uncover what makes these individuals so rare, so resilient, and so powerfully grounded in a world that's anything but. First, the spiritually disciplined embrace solitude in a way that transforms them. Most people run from being alone, terrified of the silence that forces them to face their own thoughts. They surround themselves with noise, endless conversations, scrolling feeds, or numbing vices, to avoid the voice within. But those who've earned their spiritual strength, the ones we celebrate on Wisdom Waves Aura, walk straight into that quiet. They know a person who can't sit with their own mind has yet to meet their true self. Solitude isn't a curse to them, it's a forge. It strips away the masks we wear, confronts us with our insecurities, our regrets, our unhealed wounds. It leaves us raw, naked with the truth. Most would crumble under that weight, fleeing back to distractions. But the spiritually gifted don't run. They sit in the discomfort, bleed in the silence, and let it reshape them. As the ancient Stoic Musonius Rufus once said, the soul is strengthened by hardship, just as the body is by labor. Solitude is that hardship. It demands you face the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore. And in that brutal quiet, something sacred happens. You stop craving validation. You stop needing the world's applause. You learn to belong to yourself. This is the kind of strength we explore on Wisdom Waves Aura, where we honor the unseen discipline that builds unshakable souls. When these individuals return from their solitude, they don't come back softer. They return forged, carrying a calm that unsettles others because it's rooted in self-ownership, not external approval. True spiritual power isn't built in crowded rooms or sacred temples. It's crafted in the long, lonely moments where no one sees your struggle but you. Then there's the second gift, one that sets the spiritually disciplined apart in a world obsessed with pride. They experience the death of ego while still breathing. Most people live chained to their ego, where every slight feels like a knife, every criticism a personal attack. They cling to their identity, their image, their need to be seen as right or admirable. But those who've walked the path of inner mastery, the ones we spotlight on Wisdom Waves Aura, have already buried that part of themselves. Not through grand gestures or lofty words, but through quiet acts of discipline. As the Stoic Epictetus taught, if you wish to improve, you must be content to be thought foolish or strange. And they are. They're willing to lose the argument, to walk away without defending their pride, to stay calm when the world expects them to erupt. Why? Because they've learned the ego is a trap, a glittering cage that promises protection but delivers slavery. The more you feed it, the more it owns you. But when you let it go, when you kill the need to be praised or proven right, you become untouchable. Free. On Wisdom Waves Aura, we unpack this liberation, showing how these individuals live not for status or applause but for principle. That principle isn't loud or flashy. It's silent, like steel running through their core. Letting the ego die isn't a one-time event, it's a daily practice of choosing humility over pride, truth over image. And that death, that shedding of the self's loudest demands, is the beginning of real life. It's why the spiritually gifted seem so grounded, so unshaken by the world's noise. They've already faced the hardest loss, their need to be seen, and found freedom on the other side. This is the kind of wisdom we share on Wisdom Waves Aura, where we dig into the quiet victories that redefine what it means to be alive. Finally, the spiritually disciplined experience deep emotional storms but refuse to be swept away by them. Most people believe strength means feeling nothing, being an unmovable rock in the face of pain or anger. They're wrong. True strength, as we explore on Wisdom Waves Aura, is feeling the full weight of the storm, grief, fear, rage, and choosing not to let it control you. The spiritually gifted don't avoid their emotions or numb them with distractions. They don't suppress what rises within. They face it head on, letting the heat of the flame burn without letting it consume them. They've mastered the art of standing in fire without losing their form. As the Stoic Seneca wrote, no one is more unhappy than the person who never faces adversity, because they're never allowed to prove themselves. And adversity isn't always external. Sometimes it's the crushing weight of loss, the sharp sting of jealousy, or the slow drip of resentment. Most people act on these feelings, spilling their chaos onto others or letting it tear them apart. But the spiritually disciplined, the ones we honor on Wisdom Waves Aura, carry their storms with control. They feel the emotion fully but don't let it dictate their actions. They know every destructive impulse, if resisted, becomes fuel. Every temptation, if denied, becomes power. Every reaction they hold back is a victory over the shadow within. This isn't about being cold or detached. It's about fighting the hardest battles inwardly, without a sound, and emerging stronger. On Wisdom Waves Aura, we celebrate this quiet mastery, showing how these individuals turn their deepest struggles into their greatest strengths. Their calm isn't the absence of feeling, it's the result of dominating what they feel. They live not to escape pain but to harness it, to let it forge them into something greater. This is why they seem so steady in a world that's always swaying. They've learned to weather the storm without showing the world a single drop of rain. This path, the one of solitude, ego death, and emotional mastery, isn't for everyone. Most will never choose it because it demands too much. It asks for silence when the world screams for noise, humility when pride feels so good, and discipline when comfort is easier. But if you're still here, listening to these words, you're not like most. You feel that quiet fire, that pull towards something deeper. You don't just want to feel powerful, you want to be powerful, from the inside out. That's why Wisdom Waves Aura exists, to guide you through this journey, to show you how to master the chaos within and live with unshakable strength. The spiritually gifted aren't born, they're made, through choices most won't make, through battles most won't fight. They've earned their gifts not because they were special but because they refused to settle for a half-lived life. They chose to face the silence, to let go of pride, to carry their storms with grace. And in doing so, they've unlocked a kind of freedom most will never taste. So, what does this mean for you? If you feel that heaviness in your chest, that strange calm that others don't understand, you're closer to this path than you think. You don't need a temple or a guru. You need the courage to sit with yourself, to let go of what the world says you should be, to feel deeply but act wisely. On Wisdom Waves Aura, we don't just talk about these ideas, we show you how to live them. Every video, every story, every insight is a step toward mastering the storm within. Subscribe to Wisdom Waves Aura if you're ready to stop chasing noise and start building strength. Join us if you want to walk this path, not to feel good, but to become unbreakable. The world will keep shouting, keep pulling, keep tempting you to stay asleep. But you know there's more. You feel it in your bones. That's why you're here, why you're drawn to Wisdom Waves Aura. This isn't about mysticism or magic. It's about discipline, about choosing yourself every day, about turning your struggles into power. The spiritually gifted don't wait for permission. They don't need a sign. They start where they stand, with what they have, and they build. So start now. Step into the silence. Let go of the ego. Master your storms. And if you're ready to go deeper, to learn how to live this way, Wisdom Waves Aura is here for you. Subscribe, join the journey, and let's forge something extraordinary together. The path is hard, but it's worth it. Because on the other side of discipline is freedom, a freedom most will never know, but one you can claim if you dare to choose it.